So this is supposedly Clint Eastwood's last ever movie that he's going to direct. If so, it's a pretty decent mic drop to Hollywood. Juror number 2. Curious why they went with number 2 of all numbers. Family man Justin Kemp, who, while serving as a juror in a high-profile murder trial, finds himself struggling with a serious moral dilemma. One he could use to sway the jury verdict and potentially convict or free the wrong killer. Another great cryptic IMDb blurb there. The trailer, if you've seen this, is pretty good at not spoiling everything, but it does give us a little more than what this blurb does. We essentially find out that Justin Kemp is also somehow involved in the events the trial is depicting, and with that we then begin to explore some deep moral questions. Probably obvious from my opening, but I really like this one. Clint Eastwood is already an established director with some amazing films under his belt, so it's sad to hear that this could be his last, but I think it's a really good one to go out on if so. Now, I've not seen this other film, and I really should have by now, but I watched this with a friend and he noted there's a lot of elements from 12 Angry Men in here. I can't really say otherwise, but aside from potentially 12 Angry Men, this felt like a pretty unique movie to me. There's two key factors in here that really sold me on this. One being the great performances put on by Hoult, Toni, Chris Messina, and the rest of the jury, and the other being that this movie just managed to make me continuously change my mind on whose side I was on. I really appreciate a film that's able to essentially challenge my way of thinking. If you knew a man was potentially innocent, would you take the easy route and send him to jail, or go down this much more difficult path to try set him free, but which may also cost you dearly in the process? The story honestly made me change my mind on that answer a couple of times, and I like that. It's not an overly long film at only 1 hour and 50, and it felt decently paced for the most of it too. I thought this would be entirely set during the trial, and it's not. The story is wider than that, and we get input from a lot of different characters to keep it interesting. Hoult plays our main guy here, and he's superb in this. Really strong performance all around, and for the most part his character is written pretty well, with only a couple of frustrating moments which I didn't really understand why he did what he did. But he's this perfect middle line of constantly nervous, yet clever enough to shift the tide to his favour when needed. I won't say any more in fear of spoilers, but honestly just great to watch in this. Toni, Collette and Chris Messina as the lawyers are great too, and bounce off each other pretty well. Toni Collette's character develops well towards the end, and again you struggle to figure out if she's making the right decision or not. The other point of note I want to talk about is Simmons, who's all over the advertising, and who I will say really shifts the film into a different gear when his character gets involved. However, I really wished he was in this more than what he is. The way they go about this character is kind of clever, but J.K. Simmons as an actor is just so awesome, again demonstrated in this, that you just miss him when he goes. I could dive into the jurors too, but the video would become like 10 minutes long, so we'll just leave it at that. There's not really much else I want to dive into. The camera work is good, and there's a couple of hidden details put throughout the film. I do think they could have put even more in. A couple of times they seem to make effort to show the face and reactions of certain witnesses, as if they're about to impact the story or something, but that never really comes back about. This is a spoiler-free review, but I will note that the ending is done in a way where you can probably interpret it in a couple of different ways, and I get why they did it. They want people to leave this questioning still what the right way it should end is. But I also do feel it's kind of a bit frustrating, and I can imagine others might find that frustrating as well. Anyways, to sum up, it's just a tight, well-rounder thought-provoker, and it's one I would definitely recommend checking out if you can still find it. It's only limited release in cinemas, so you might have to try finding it on streaming otherwise, but definitely check it out. Right, so that's Juror number 2. Have you seen it? If so, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff, and as always, stay tuned for more reviews on movies, anime and video games. Until next time guys, take care. Bye bye.